Is Alabama Politics with Steve Flowers, an in-depth interview with Alabama's top political newsmakers. Now, from the studios of Troy University, here is Steve Flowers.
I'm Steve Flowers, and welcome to Alabama Politics. We're very fortunate tonight to have as our guest Lieutenant Governor Kay Ivey. Kay's been my guest at least 4 times. The guys were kidding before the show. We ought to name it the Kay Ivey Show. We've had her on several times. What a pretty jacket, Kay.
Well, thank you, Steve. It's always good to be with you and your viewers because we're all home folks.
You look pretty. You look pretty with that green jacket and everything. But, you know, you finished up your first term as Lieutenant Governor. You know, we're
just in the 3rd session. We got one more to
yeah,
go.
But it's getting down to election time, though. Y'all all running for re-election. You're running for re-election.
Certainly.
As is Governor Bentley, as is Agriculture Commissioner John McMillan and Young Boozer. And seems like most of the constitutional officers are kind of running unopposed. The 2 open ones will have a good race, you know. But we always like to visit with you about old-timey politics. Kay grew up in Wilcox County, y'all, down in Camden, around Camden. But you actually grew up out in the country, didn't you?
Well, my dad had a farm outside of Camden, and he and I worked it on the weekends, and so I know all about.
Now, most of it's in timber. Now, you still have that land, don't you?
Yeah, but we converted to timber in 66, 67, somewhere along in there.
I had Governor Bentley on my show. He said that he still owns land that his family homesteaded in Shelby County around Columbiana, and he bought that land from his parents. It wasn't a big spread, it was 40 acres. He said he goes down there sometimes, looks at it. It's all timber like your land is now in there. Kay, you know what I think so interesting about Wilcox County? When you were growing up there, and even today, there's not more than 15,000 people, I don't reckon, in Wilcox County. 15, 20 at most, is there?
I'd be surprised if it's that many.
That's what I'm saying.
More like 2,000 in the town of Camden.
I know it. And so if you had, folks, listen to this. In Wilcox County, Kay Ivey, Lieutenant Governor, is from Wilcox County. Joe Bonner, the congressman, who's leaving, but he's still the congressman. His sister, Judy Bonner, who's provost, now president of the University of Alabama. And the Senator Jeff Sessions are all from Wilcox County.
And Steve, we all grew up together.
Did y'all know each other growing up?
Oh, yeah, and our parents did. And
y'all all about the same age and everything.
Well, about. Now, Congressman Bonner is Little Joe because he was.
Judy's older than he is.
Yes. Her older brother Jimmy and I were in the same class. And
y'all all knew each other. You knew Sessions and everything. You and Sessions?
Judy and Jeff were in the same class, 2 years behind me. And then Little Joe was about 6 years behind Jeff, but Little Joe rode horseback riding with me and his older brother often. So we just all grew up together, and our mamas and daddies went to the same churches and Boy Scout, you know, and Girl Scouts.
And Sessions was over there too?
Oh yeah, right in the middle of it.
But now Sessions, he spent all his growing up years in didn't he move off to Mobile or something?
No, well, he lives in Mobile now, but he grew up in a little burg called Hibbert, right outside, just over the county line.
So all his growing up years, he was in Wilcox County? Yeah,
all the school, all the Boy Scouts.
He was probably Eagle Scout, wasn't he?
Oh, he was. He's recently presided over the Eagle Honor Court for Peyton Burford's 2 grandsons. Yeah, so.
Kay, you still read the Progressive Era?
I take it every week.
I'm in there every week. My column's in there every week.
I know.
Did you know Hollis well?
Oh, knew him well, and his wife Glenda, and his son who died.
I know it. All of them died so early. That boy died so early.
Yeah. Real tragedy. But
Glenda's doing a good job.
She seems to be holding the fort and doing well. And, yeah.
You know what I find in those papers? I'll have so many people will say, live in Montgomery, and they'll say, I read your column in the Selma Times Journal, because they still get their hometown paper.
Listen, everybody reads the weekly newspaper to keep up with who's getting married, who had a baby.
That's right.
Who died. I mean, even when you move away, you want to stay in touch with home folks.
They still get their paper.
And that's part of the joy I get out of serving as Lieutenant Governor of Alabama, Steve. It's an opportunity to be a part of moving this state forward so our younger people and our grandchildren can enjoy the benefits of being independent and participating in whatever career field that they want to, So it's a joy to work with a team in the Alabama legislature that we were all elected in 2010, and we've been on a mission ever since.
Oh, it really has been a mission. I'm going to tell you something. The change philosophically in Alabama politics, you know, when George Wallace was governor in his heyday, he used to make the statement often that there's not a dime's worth of difference in political parties. Well, in his era, there probably may not have been much, but you know, okay, there is a difference in the Democratic and Republican parties in the state of Alabama, philosophically. I mean, Alabamians now perceive that all Democrats are the same color or stripe or philosophy as the National Democratic Party. But that ain't far from the truth in Alabama now. There used to people say I was an Alabama Democrat, but that day I think is gone. I think that people have decided nationally from
it's not about parties so much, in my judgment, Steve. It's about people's philosophy of what this country was founded on, and the opportunity for an individual to either be naturalized by a process and become a citizen, or to be born here and have all the rights and privileges thereto bestowed of being a citizen. And if we help our people understand how to have a good job with high-paying wages, and that's having real education reform, we addressed that with a major bill this time in the legislative session. For the first time, our parents have choice, and our schools have flexibility to design the curriculum to fit the schools and the children. We started a trend that says we need to recommit our efforts to education by investing in students, not just schools. Students matter. And so we train these young people to enter the workforce. And we've got a full measure of vacancies in the tech world, the tech careers, whether that's welding or whether that's engineering. And these are high-paying, high-market demand jobs. And I'm proud that I was able to bring the Real World Design Challenge program to the high schools of this state. We're in our second year. And last year we had 50 teams from 50 different high schools in this state enter this design contest to build an aerospace flying instrument machine according to specific criteria. And for the second year in a row, the little team from Fort Payne, Alabama, Fort Payne High School, won the state championship and had an expense-paid trip to Washington, D.C. But it's having these children, these young people, at an early age, not just in high school, exposed to what we call STEM education: science, technology, education, and mathematics.
That's been one of your stalwart issues.
Economic development and education has been my passion.
Well, the subject you're talking about, you spearheaded the project, and what is the title of that?
Real World Design Challenge.
And you spearheaded that in Alabama.
Well, I brought it to Alabama. It's sponsored by the Aerospace States Association, which I'm vice president, but it had never been brought to Alabama. And so when I was made aware of this, my first year in office, I said, bring it on. And so my staff and I got busy, and we partnered with some folks at the University of Alabama system that work in AmStec, and started the program in Alabama. And like I say, 50 teams in it last year, and we're working to get more than that this year.
What do those teams do to vote?
There are 7 members of the team, so they could be 9th through 12th grade. And they come together as a team, and they are assigned real-world positions such as marketing director, design director, engineering director, et cetera, just like in the real world, say at Redstone Arsenal, when a private sector or the government has need for design of new technology, new flying apparatuses.
They may use their design.
Well, sure, but so it's preparing, giving children a taste of what real world is all about in the fields of technology.
And 50 teams competing in Alabama on that thing.
That was last year, but we got more schools that are available to it, and it's a real good program, and all the principals getting a letter of invitation to participate, and the Aerospace States Association provides each sponsoring teacher up to $1 million worth in engineering software.
Okay, you know, you're right about that. The technology is where the jobs are going to be.
I hope you read the article just in the last week where Huntsville was named the top 3rd city in the nation for attracting the most career jobs, or having the most career jobs in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
That makes sense for Huntsville to do that, though. 'Cause
Well,
that's
doesn't
where-
it?
yeah.
But Washington, D.C. and a place, San Jose, California was ahead of, but come on, Alabama, right here at home? And that's what you call STEM education. It needs to start early in their career and get them exposed to building things and doing things.
Okay, you think about it. That's where our job growth has been.
Well, that's where it's going in the 24th global workforce.
Look at Mercedes and Airbus. They're not looking for clerical people. They're looking for people who know how to work a machine.
Well, that's exactly right, and we've got to make that transition. Now, Governor Bentley's got a task force called Career and College Ready Task Force, working with business, industry, and educators, and I'm proud to serve on that task force to make the connection so that education can be real to what the 21st global economy really needs, because we have a workforce that's going to be very global in nature, already is.
No question.
And so
Airbus.
we've got a lot to do.
I mean, that's a good, Mercedes and Airbus is a pretty good example. Wouldn't you say?
And Alabama is earned the reputation of being world-class leader in manufacturing automotive and aerospace.
Now, those two are coup de grace. Did Governor Bentley bring you in on all the Airbus stuff, and y'all travel together on the Airbus?
Usually the governor and the lieutenant governor don't go out of state at the same time.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you were involved with the
yeah.
meeting down there and everything. That's going to be a big project.
And I was there for the groundbreaking of Airbus, and it's just a huge undertaking. And this trip that the governor took to Paris identified a lot of Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 suppliers to come to Alabama. Well,
That's where the real jobs will come. I mean, not the Airbus is not 1,000 jobs, is not a lot of jobs, but that's where these spin-off things from this Hyundai plant here in Montgomery.
Well, talking about Hyundai, as much as we value it, reminds me that we have 4 military bases in this state.
And you've been very involved with that. Let's
Well,
talk about that BRAC thing.
Fort Rucker down in Enterprise area, and then Coast Maxwell Gunter here, and the Anniston Army Depot, and Redstone Arsenal.
Right.
Okay. Now those 4 military bases in this great state have total economic impact per year of $12 billion. Now it would
Billion.
take billion
With a B, y'all.
with a B, and it would take 3 Hyundai plants to equal that.
Is that
and
right?
yet we treasure so much and we value so highly Hyundai. But we also have this economic impact, this economic engine with our 4 military bases. Steve, did you know that we've got 12,000 active duty folks located in our state? We've got 22,000 in the Army Guard and Reserve. We've got 420,000 retirees.
You know, Kate, to get into what you're talking about, what illuminates that so much what you're saying is, about a few months ago I had Todd Strange, the mayor of Montgomery, on the show sitting where you are. And I just assumed, talking to him, that state government was the most vital and biggest industry in Montgomery. He says, no. It's Maxwell Gunter is the #1 economic factor and #1 employer, and that means they're bigger than Hyundai and the state of Alabama. That means Maxwell Gunter is still the #1
That's the reason,
in this
Steve,
river region.
Our military assets, military bases and all their assets have to be protected and maintained. Now, BRAC's going to come at some point. But our charge here in Alabama is to be ready in advance and starting now. That's what this Military Stability Commission is doing, and I'm proud to be the chairman of that, established by the legislature. And so everybody's working together so that we can impact DOD, Department of Defense, with a statewide coordinated message and focus. But we got to be sure that every one of our bases, the core at every base is probably in good shape. I mean, Maxwell Gunter is an education endeavor. It's not going anywhere as an education hub. But each of our bases has a core mission. Those cores are probably safe.
Rucker may be safe because of their mission, too.
Well, but it's their mission, but it's their missions that are also attached to that base, where that core may be helicopter training. There are also other missions. For example, at Redstone, you've got their obvious core, but attached to them is the Army Materiel whole division that moves every pencil, every piece of paper, everything for the Army worldwide, located right there in Huntsville under General Ivey. And General Ivey is not the base commander, but he's a 4-star general in charge of that materiel command. So you got to be sure that all of your missions are right on target, providing strong military defense capacity, and then also that we're all doing what we can to make all of our areas more military friendly.